back to my channel. Today I have a mid-April message for all of the Capricorns out in the collective. Please note this is going to be a general reading, so it is not going to resonate with every single Capricorn out in the collective. I ask that you take with you what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you are new to my channel, welcome to Eileen Into Spirit. My name is Eileen Rouse. I am a psychic intuitive, a spiritual coach, and a sound healing practitioner. So without further ado, Capricorn, let's go ahead and dive right into your mid-April message. So Capricorn, we are starting out with mending, eagle with communion, and enlightenment. Look from the highest perspective and see the divine in everyone. Okay, so right off the bat, Capricorn, we are starting off with communion. So this is about really seeing the bigger picture. I feel this is really about you learning to build a relationship with higher perspectives, being willing to sort of get that eagle eye view of where you're wanting to go, sort of having that higher sense of understanding and healing. I feel that no matter what you are currently going through this month or this mid-month, even if it pertains to relationships here, Capricorn, it's really about sort of not really choosing sides per se, but being willing to see both sides or all sides, okay? I feel that the importance here is that when it comes to relationships, and I'm just going to say this right now, I feel this is pertaining to relationships here, Capricorn. So I do feel that when it comes to relationships, it's really about not being so one-sided, but being willing to be open to seeing both sides of the coin, being willing to see both sides, both perspectives, but also being willing to forgive. Forgiveness is the key here, especially when it comes to learning and seeing and being the observer. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into the tarot here. Let's see what additional information Spirit has for you. I find it very interesting that your heart of the reading is eagle with communion. And look at that, right off the bat, I knew this was about relationships. The Lovers card just popped out. Okay, here's what I want to say about the heart of your reading being the eagle. The eagle is that higher perspective. Eagles usually fly really, really high. And the reason they fly high is because they're looking at everything below them. They're getting that broader perspective. They're looking for predators. They're looking for their next meal. They're looking for safety, security, all of those things. And they do that from above because when we're on the ground, when they're on the ground, they only have a limited view. They can only see things so far, but when they're high up in the air and they have that higher perspective, they can see, they have a much farther range in viewing things. I do feel that this is what you're needing to understand, okay, when it comes to relationships. The Lovers card is about choices, and it's about being mature enough to see everything, okay? You now have the Justice card, which is about fairness and it's about truth, okay? But here's the thing. When it comes to relationships, you can't just be one-sided. It can't just be about you. It also has to be about the other person involved. You have to see both perspectives and see where both people are coming from when it comes to finding a sense of balance in the relationship. So when it comes to relationships, there isn't just one person at fault. Both parties are at fault when there are issues in a relationship. And the reason for that is because, you know, it takes two people to make a relationship work. It isn't just one person constantly giving and the other person constantly receiving. It has to be 50-50. It has to be an equal give and take here, Capricorn. I do feel that whatever is transpiring in this relationship, there needs to be a lot of forgiveness that goes on. I do feel that this relationship was fated, So that means that you were meant to cross paths with this individual, and you were meant to learn something from this individual. Even if the relationship didn't work out, you're still meant to learn something. And I do feel that this relationship helped create in you a better sense of understanding of what you were actually looking for in a relationship. It helped you identify what you really wanted and what you really needed, and how you could maybe fulfill that for yourself, or what it was that you actually needed in order to be aware of that. The Three of Wands in reversed here. The Three of Wands is really about progress. I feel like right now, when it comes to relationships, you're not really progressing very much here, Capricorn. And it could be because you're not willing to see the bigger picture when it comes to this relationship that didn't work out. And I feel you're not progressing. So I think this means that you're not really in types of relationships that you're wanting to experience, because you're too busy focusing on what went wrong in the past relationship. Understand that when you don't learn the lesson, you're going to repeat it again and again. So really ask yourself, do you want to repeat that lesson again? Do you want to experience it? Because it'll show up again in a different person until you actually learn the lesson at hand. Now we have the Ten of Pentacles with the Six of Pentacles. Okay, I'm just going to be upfront about this, Capricorn. This relationship that you are still holding on to, there's a lot of bitterness going on here in this relationship that you are still holding on to. And I think, it's because you have this perception or this belief that a relationship is supposed to be a certain way. Okay. But I have to point out here, you have the Six of Pentacles ending this line right here, which is about equal 50-50, give and take. That means that every person in this relationship has to give of themselves and be willing to receive of them, from other people. So that means that it isn't just one person's responsibility to do XYZ and the other person do XYZ. So here's what I'm going to say here, Capricorn. If you are the type of person that wants to constantly be on the receiving end, you have to be willing to give just as much. The energy that you give in a relationship is the energy that you receive in a relationship. And understand that if things are not balanced and they are not fair, then everything sort of turns topsy-turvy, right? Certain people when things are not balanced, right? Then that's how you create a lot of animosity, a lot of anger, where people start pointing the finger at each other like, well, you did this to me and you did this to me. And the reality here, Capricorn, is that everyone's at fault. Simply because if you're not willing to own up to your own mistakes in the relationship, then you're going to experience the same situations, the same experiences over and over again until you learn the lesson here. Now, I want to point out that in this particular relationship, was it had a great solid foundation. And I do feel that this person did give you everything that they had. They offered you everything that they could potentially offer a partner. But I don't feel that you were very appreciative of that. I feel like you wanted more. You wanted more. There was something that this individual wasn't willing to give to you. Look, I got the Ten of Pentacles again. I guess the question I have to ask you, Capricorn, is what more could you want? What more did you want from this person that obviously this person didn't give you? And my next question is going to be, why couldn't you give this to yourself? because I feel like what I'm picking up here, especially with the mending card, is that I feel that you're expecting other people to fulfill certain aspects of you, certain voids that you don't get, but it's not their responsibility to fix it for you or to provide it for you. That is your responsibility, Capricorn. You now have the Page of Cups here with the Justice card. So I feel that this is ultimately saying that, you know, it's almost like I feel this is a little bit childish from your perspective. I feel that everything in the beginning of this relationship was very equal. It was very balanced. And then somehow along the way, it just got turned upside down. And I feel that it's because you had this very high expectation of certain needs that needed to be met, that you weren't willing to actually give to yourself here with the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is about being practical. In relationships, you have to be practical. You have to recognize that sometimes certain expectations that you have of other people cannot be met. So the question you then have to ask yourself in this relationship is it someone else's responsibility to meet that expectation, or should I be meeting that expectation for myself? I say this all the time, Capricorn, in relationships. You have to learn how to fill your own cup. If you don't know how to fill your own cup, then you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's plain and simple. Relationships is not as complicated as people make it out to be. What makes it complicated is people unwilling to surrender and be willing to be vulnerable in those relationships and recognize how they're at fault and how their actions played a part in the circumstances at play. And it's very interesting because the Hangman just came out, which is surrender. It's all about surrendering and letting go of our own ideas of how things should be, instead of opening up lines of communication with your partner and agreeing to, okay, you know, I'm not really good at this, and I feel this way when you do this. Like, that's the whole point of relationships. You have to build an open line of communication here. Now we have Justice again. Okay, so I feel like this is really bringing up maybe there was a divorce here, Capricorn, that sort of came up. And you might have felt like you were jilted in some way. You might have felt like it wasn't equal, but I'm clearly seeing that however things panned out, they panned out very equally. You weren't gypped in any way. You weren't neglected in any way. I just feel like you had this certain belief or expectation of how you wanted things to be, and it didn't pan out that way. And so now you're not taking accountability. I mean, I can't change what I'm seeing here, Capricorn. I do feel that this whole experience, I think you're needing to see the bigger picture and sort of recognize that this is leading you towards an entirely new path, an experience that I feel that you're needing to experience. I am curious as to where this is leading you, but the question is going to be, are you going to be willing to hear me out, Capricorn, and really look at things? Can you see the reasoning behind why things transpired this way? I guess that's the question. So at the bottom of the deck, I have the Emperor with the Four of Cups. Okay, so that just answered my question. I feel here, Capricorn, that this whole experience when it comes to relationships is ultimately up to you. I feel that you will continue to repeat this pattern until you learn the lesson. And I don't feel that you're willing to take charge. I don't really feel that you're willing to own up to your own issues when it came to this relationship, because I feel like you're only viewing it from one side and you're not really being honest. The Four of Cups really speaks about apathy. It speaks about, you know, having that same expectation over and over and over again. No matter how many opportunities present themselves to you, you will automatically expect the same result. And because you automatically expect the same result and you dismiss the signs, or you dismiss what's coming up, you refuse to see the truth for the truth, you'll continue to experience the same thing over and over. So Capricorn, your message this month is really about seeing the bigger picture, looking at things from a higher perspective, and being willing to see things clearly for what they are and forgive and let go. You have to let go. So Capricorn, this is your message this month. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time with your new message. Bye, guys.